Hey everybody, this is Colin from Studio 1405 at Poplar Creek Public Library, and this is Lesson 3 of our Home Recording Basics series. Today we will be discussing basic microphone techniques and things to look out for, as well as how to prepare your performance. But before we discuss any of that, I want to discuss listening volume and ear fatigue. When you are recording, and just in general, do not listen to music at loud volumes for long periods of time. This will create ear fatigue and ruin your ability to hear frequencies with accuracy. Even prolonged listening at a moderate volume will wear out your ears and cause potential damage to your hearing. It is best to listen at a quiet volume when recording, occasionally bringing the audio up to a louder listening level as a frame of reference. This will save your ears, improve your recordings, and vastly improve your mixing. Acoustics. A good song is a good master of a good mix, of a good recording, of a good performance, in a good room. How good a recording sounds is predicated on the performance and the room before anything else. Mic placement. Before you record, try singing, talking, or playing in various areas of the room and listen to how it sounds. The best advice you can receive regarding recording is use your ears. Your ears are going to be your main tool in the studio, so you should use them wisely. For example, if you are recording a piano, which is a notoriously tough instrument to record, try moving around the piano and placing your head in different positions to get a feel for what the mic will pick up. Once you have found a good spot, place the microphone and listen with headphones. Listen to how it sounds and try tweaking the angle and positioning. You will be amazed at the difference a few inches or a few degrees makes in your sound. If you have near-field monitors, record a sample and try listening back on your speakers. This will give you a better idea of the sound you are capturing. Gain staging. If gain is set too high, it will distort the signal. If it is set too low, you will have too much signal noise. Historically, you would want to set the mic level as high as possible without clipping or distorting the sound. This was due to the noise floor that was in the analog realm and early digital realm, but if you are recording with a computer these days, you will not have that same issue. We have a lot of tools available to boost the signal after it is recorded, so it is best to record at a lower level. Typically, you should shoot for a signal that hits about -12 decibels and peaks around -6. Once again, use your ears. If the hotter signal is picking up too much external noise, turn it down. Feedback. If you have input monitoring on while your speakers are also on, this will create a feedback loop, or that horrible squeal you hear when a microphone picks up the sound of the speaker. The mic will pick up a frequency being amplified by the speaker, which will then be sent to the speaker again and amplified, which is then picked up by the microphone, creating a feedback loop. Be sure to mute your speakers prior to arming your microphone track. Bleed. You'll probably be using headphones in the recording studio. Microphones pick up sound, and that includes the sound coming from your headphones. Microphones picking up audio coming from other sources is called bleed, and is best to be avoided. You'll want to minimize the noise picked up by your microphone, so turn the headphone signal down as low as you can while still being able to hear whatever you need. This bleed is especially prominent when recording with a metronome, so be sure to keep this in mind when you're recording to a click track. Proximity and mic control. There are various techniques for recording different instruments, vocalists, and amplifiers. For recording vocals, you typically want to be 6 to 12 inches away from the microphone. Place the microphone in line with the mouth. Try angling the microphone up or down, up for a brighter tone, and down for a deeper tone. For voiceover work, or other certain vocal recordings, You may want to get closer, though you might run into some other issues. The closer you get to a microphone, the more the mic will pick up mouth noises, which is generally unpleasant in a recording. You will also experience what's called the proximity effect, which means the closer you get to a microphone, the more the mic will pick up the bass frequencies. You can also use this effect to your advantage. Think of a radio DJ. They typically have the microphone extremely close to their mouth to achieve that deep, stylized radio voice. Or if you're recording a guitar that is sounding too thin, you can move the mic closer to the body of the guitar to achieve a more bass-heavy tone. Pop filters and plosives. Microphones work by transforming a vibration in the air into an electrical current that can be interpreted as an audio signal. Plosives are heavy transfers of air, such as the P and B sounds, that create a larger amount of air as they are produced by the mouth. This creates a loud and unwanted popping sound in the recording. To combat this, studios will utilize pop filters. These reduce the amount of air being picked up by the microphone without having too much of an effect on the rest of the sound. While this tool is useful in diminishing the pop effect, it is even more important to have a controlled vocal delivery where your plosives are delivered with a bit of delicacy. Recording instruments. Recording instruments is not something that can be reduced to a single statement, so approach each instrument you record as something unique and individual. There are a few things that are true regardless of the instrument you are recording. The closer you move the mic towards an instrument, the more bass the mic will pick up. You will also pick up more of the sound of the attack of that instrument or the initial transient when the note is played. If you are recording an acoustic guitar, this means you will pick up more of the sound of the fingers or pick striking the string the closer you move the microphone to that source. Engineers will often record guitar with a microphone about 1 foot away from the instrument, pointed at the 12th fret of the guitar. This captures a sound that is not too bass heavy, nor too focused on the attack of the plucked or strummed strings. Regardless of what instrument you're recording, there are plenty of people who have done it before you. If you are unsure of where to start with a recording of a certain source, don't be afraid to look for examples of ways engineers have recorded that source in the past. Amplifiers are a completely different beast in recording, though they are not too tough to record if you can dial in a few elements. Just like our signal chain between a good mix of a good recording of a good performance, a good guitar or bass sound is a mix of a properly set up guitar with good fresh strings played through a good, properly dialed amp recorded with well-placed microphones. This is a situation where using more than one microphone is very useful for capturing the sound. The tone will sound different whether the mic is placed directly in front of the amp or a few feet back, as well as where the mic is placed in relation to the speaker or cone of the amp. I generally start with the mic off to the side of the cone, directly in front of the amp. I do this on either side of the cone with one condenser mic and one dynamic mic that can be used to blend the two sounds together for a great tone. Though we will not be going into phasing issues in this lesson, that is an important element to understand when recording with multiple microphones. If you are having issues with your guitar or bass sound, consider the following options. Check the strings on your guitar. If you have old, dead-sounding strings, replacing them could completely revitalize your tone. Change the way you're playing your part. Maybe you are strumming too hard or too soft, or should play with fingers instead of a pick. You have an entire arsenal of tones literally at your fingertips, so you should utilize it. Change the volume and tone knobs on your guitar. Volume and tone knobs have more options than just 0 and 10. Try turning your amp up and your guitar volume down, and you will have a completely different tone than you had before. If the instrument is sounding too brittle, try dialing back the tone knob until you've reached your desired tone. Tweak the knobs on your amp. All amps have different settings, but chances are you have a volume knob, a gain knob, and some sort of EQ. Try setting all EQ knobs to 12 o'clock and tweak the gain and volume until you have an amount of grit that you are happy with. Use the bass knob to dial in your low end, the mid knob to dial in your mid punch, and the high knob to adjust sharpness. Slowly cycle through, adjusting your guitar, amp, and microphone placement until you have dialed in your perfect tone. Preparing your performance. A recording is only as good as the performance, and as a performer, that should be your main focus. The best way to get a good performance is to practice and be in performing shape for whatever you're recording. Before you record your final version of a track, you should try recording a demo for the song. Demos are a rough draft of a song that will give you an idea of what you will be recording before you lay down your final take. This can be as simple as recording on your phone. I use the Voice Memos app on my phone to record clips of myself playing guitar and singing. It generally takes me some time to get comfortable with a song, so this is my process for recording. Write down the lyrics. They don't have to be the final lyrics, just with enough substance to get you through the structure of the song. Lyrics for a song usually don't come all at once, so don't be afraid to let the words come naturally to you over time. Record some basic demos. Record a demo with one instrument and your vocal part. These can be rough. Just try to get through the song and make a complete recording. I record the majority of my demos on my phone. Listen back to it and see what works and what doesn't. Record it again, this time changing up the structure of your vocal delivery and find what fits best for the song. Repeat this process until you've recorded something you're happy with. As the song becomes familiar over time, you will get more and more comfortable performing the song and more prepared for a polished recording. Record a fleshed out demo. Try recording the song as close to your final version as you can muster. This is the time where you can experiment with mic placements, vocal techniques, the arrangement of the song, as well as finalized lyrics. If you record everything and it sounds terrible, scrap it and start from scratch. This process will prepare you to record the final version, so there is as little guesswork as possible once you are either in a professional studio or recording the final track in your home studio. Daily practice. Part of rehearsing is making sure that you are in shape to perform. Treat your voice like a muscle and take care of your vocal health. When I started to take my daily routine seriously, my performing and vocal tone skyrocketed. Singing is all about breath, and making sure you are breathing consistently across your vocal range will greatly affect your vocal tone and intonation. Figure out what your vocal part is and try to find some warm-ups in your range that you can use for your daily practice routine. And remember, stay hydrated. For more information on recording, check out the Linda course, Audio Recording Techniques. Improving at recording is a slow process, so have patience with yourself as you are working toward your goal. Next week, we'll be discussing a handful of resources you can use to further your audio engineering knowledge. Thanks, and we'll see you then.